Morning Goobers, I'm Eric Arias, and well, today is sort of a event report, I could say. I've gone to two OTS champs in the past week or so, and I just wanna just talk about Earthbound Azamina since, well, it's the best variant, but I don't really go into too much detail most of the time. Today, though, I want to talk about, well, the list in general, a couple of fancy texts, and the reason I played them, and also just going through the texts I've thought about playing, the texts I actually ended up playing. Well, that's the section before, we don't talk about that. I love not scripting my videos, and also the texts I want to play moving into nationals in just a week. And I have not much prep for a nationals. That's great. I don't know if my camera is having a couple of issues or whatever. I really hope it doesn't once I actually move into the deck profile section, which I don't know. After it's right after this intro, you'll see once whatever. And well, there's not much else to say. I'll go through the deck profile, the text, and then go into a couple of combos. There is the Earthbound combo sheet, which I always keep in my bio and in my descriptions. But some people just wanna see them outside of the document, so I might as well show them. Either way, let's begin. Alright, so let's just start, I don't know. Starting with the Earthbounds, this should be a really standard at this point. It's 3 keepers, 3 sweepers. I haven't done a deck profile since like what, the Bologna Open, and I forgot how to make them. 1 Walker, 1 Harmonic, 1 Prison, and then for the RDAs, which are basically just Earthbound Engine at this point, 1 Vision, 1 Golem, and 2 Crimson Gaia. The Golem is new from Blazing Dominion, for those who didn't know, and it's an integral part of Earthbound combos now, because it just gives you a free body which can be searched off of Crimson Gaia, which is not only important if you do draw Gaia, but also if you go into a Vision line with Sweeper being added off of a Geogrim Lina, and then you can go from there. I'll get into more detail about this in the combos, because well, that's mainly where Golem shines. There's really not much else to say about this engine. You could play 1 for 1 if you wanna, if you're playing a bunch of hand traps, but I just don't think hand traps are correct this format unless you're playing Qultun yourself. And for every other deck, you really should just be playing Board Breakers Turbo. That's, I mean, and no, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be playing Board Breakers Turbo, you might as well play Radiant Typhoon Vision as your consistency tool, since it's a draw spell you can pretty much rely on if you're playing that. Not much else to say, really. I'm kinda iffy on Prison this format, I suppose, is the one thing I have to say. Like, it's fine as, if your opponent doesn't read, it's decent. It's not even great if your opponent doesn't read. And, like, sure, it's accessible off a keeper. The only place Prison is actually good in is against Branded, so that you can use either Keeper or, well, any of your Earthbound starters to go into Walker, to go into Prison, and Prison can negate the Diabells, which is very popular this format because of, well, Branded itself and also Sky Striker. And, well, of course, everyone being on Breakers just means that Diabells gives you so much more value because quick play spells are everywhere, with Forbidden Crowns, Droplets, and the Wrath of God, and I don't know. Everyone's on Breakers. Like I said earlier, if you're not playing Qultun, you're playing Breakers. And even then, some people on Qultun are playing Breakers, which is very funny. Not much else to say about the Earthbound package. I guess Gaia is a point of contention. I'm playing 2 Gaia. This is mainly for consistency, but it's also useful in your combos, since the Crimson King, first of all, you have Vision to search one of them, and the second one can be searched off the Crimson King, which I'll talk about later. And well, this gives you a bunch of value to be to have one of them being sent to the grave for Reciela, and the other one to be actually used as grind game in your hand, safely in your hand, which is pretty nice. I do have to say, I don't regret playing two of these. You could argue for free even, but I just don't think that the day package is really worth the additional slot. I'd much rather play another kind of a consistency tool, like for example Radiant Typhoon Vision. I'll mention RTV very often in this video because, well, Breaker's Turbo is just what I feel like is gonna be good going into Nats, whatever. Next we have the Azamina stuff, 3 Wanted, 3 Diabellstar, 2 Deception, which is different from last time, 1 Hollowed Azamina, 1 LZ, 1 Souls, and 1 Gates. What you can see here is that I'm not playing the Shining Sark package. The main reason is they suck ass. I mainly played them because I just didn't have any form of consistency back then, but now with Crimson Gaia actually being an extender, and well, playing Souls made me realize that you just don't need the Shining Sark package. You're consistent enough already, and you might as well play the second Deception whilst you're at it, by given you've cut the Shining Sark package, you might as well just play it. And the second Deception is actually pretty freaking good, I have to say. It's pretty freaking decent as an extender, and even in the grind game, just having the second one to be set off of Diabellstar if you started the Wanted, this just means that you have Deception in rotation without needing to recycle into it using the Diabellstar, which is really nice. I don't know if I explained myself very clearly, but yeah, basically the second Deception means that if you shuffle one back with Wanted, you still have another one in your graveyard if you started with Wanted already, because you would add the second Deception and then go from there. As for the bricks, I'll talk about one brick that particularly I wanted, hilariously enough, instead of some other slot. I don't know. It'll make more sense once I get into the stuff I wanted to play. And the one thing that is interesting though is someone told me that I could probably side Geyser Timaeus because it is just a brick going second, but I personally feel like it's just way too important to your ceiling to actually just be sided out. I could sideboard out Geyser Timaeus, but I could never start with it in the sideboard, honestly. I just don't think that's worth it. But it is something to keep in mind. Like, I could just keep Souls going second and just remove Geyser Timaeus so that I have more space for non-engine. That is something to keep in mind. Siding patterns have been really janky throughout the whole thing, mainly because, well, there's not much to side out for going second, and I have a lot of stuff I want to side in going second, which is really rough. You need so much of your engine, and like at most you can side out Souls, Geyser Timaeus maybe, LZ is kind of iffy but still decentish to side out. And the second Gaia, maybe the second Deception I could cut. Gaia is something I cut and it felt fine, but second Deception I'm kind of iffy about because, well, Azamina is just that important to your pushes. Then again, Deception dies to any pop, which means it's a little more iffy than something like Diabellstar, which doesn't just die and that's it. That's about it for the Azamina stuff. Into the non-engine, it's a free Fuva, free Abloz, yes, free Bell, and a free Droplet with free Impulse and 1 Call By. Oh my god. Okay, so Impulse has been really freaking good. Shocking, I know. One of the best freaking pieces of non-engine ever printed is good. Who would have thunk? Yeah, I bought these on the day. Sorry, no, actually on the day before the locals I bought these from a friend. I absolutely don't regret getting the platinum finish because I just love the platinum rarity. I have it on my not on my gaze at MIS. I have it on my Crimson Gaia. It's just so beautiful. And well, aside from that, Impulse, I was iffy on it at first because, well, Earthbound really needs, from its extra deck, you need Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, you need FA Dawn Dragster, you need Raciela. Raciela going second is a little more niche because you have the additional card, which makes it a little less bad to just not be able to play it. You still do have Croco Dragon as an option for your synchro plays and whatever in while still locked from Impulse. And well, the lock wasn't as bad as it used to be when Dragster was way more important to you trying to break a board. So yeah, Impulse is really freaking nice. What a funk. Outside of that, Droplet performed really well, even though I was really iffy about it. This used to be Imperms, and the Imperms were fine. They just weren't great because they were not stopping combos. These days, just hand traps don't cut it unless you're playing a stupid mass of them, like at minimum 18, I would have to say, because that way you have I'm pretty sure you have a 80% chance to open 2 of them very consistently. Hence why I said earlier that Qtune is the one deck I do have to say should be running hand traps, whilst everyone else should be on breakers. Droplet came in very clutch. And speaking of breakers over hand traps, Ash and Bell, they did nothing going second. Ash is really good going first, of course, because it can stop Fuva. It's just Assault in the Wound as a disruption. And whilst sure something like a Droplet can be popped off of a, I don't know, a Duster, a whatever, I do have Negation. I do have sideboard stuff that helps me with that, like Diabells, which still is a really annoying floodgate. And yeah, hand traps being protected from backrow removal isn't that big of a deal, I do have to say. And they absolutely suck going second if you're not playing a critical mass of them. The one thing that is good though are Spark and Impulse, because they're basically just breakers. Spark is very unique in the fact that it's, I'm pretty sure, the only card that is just a pure banish removal. No caveats, just banish removal. And, well, it has a caveat, but we don't talk about it. It's very easy to just, I don't know, your opponent will have a bunch of stuff that triggers in their grave. Like, I don't know, a Rembrandt, I don't know, any Qtune, what's the other decks in the format? I guess Mitsurugi, Elf Note sometimes comes up, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember much. Elf Note does not come up, no, yeah. But like, Spark is good into the 2 best decks in the format, so like, yeah, it's worth it. And Impulse is one of the freaking best non-engine ever. It can stop FTK, I don't know, FTK combo boards, and it's usable going second, just waiting to use it as like a top deck against the Qtune, because it eats a remix, and it can eat a Rembrandt, it can eat a Quem, Cartesia, even FMV. That's very funny. If you don't have a way into Prison to stop Diabells, you can just Impulse FMV to revive, so that you can still go for Harmonic play instead of Prison play, which is really nice. Yeah, Bell just did not cut it yesterday. It's unfortunate. And I would have to say the same with Ash. Ash is good going first, but just not worth playing, building around that. The theory I have is just put Ash in the side deck, and in the main deck, if I really do want to play around the Fuva loss, I just play one of my tech cards. I'll get to it eventually, but just playing one of the anti-Fuva loss tech cards in my sideboard, that's a pretty decent plan, I do have to say. Insert the Obama meme, I don't know. Yeah, just just play the tech that dodges Fuvalos whilst not being fully terrible to draw is just the play, I have to say. Lastly, there's Callby. Callby is a good card, I do have to say. I kinda like it, just in the main board, this format, but my brain is just, nah, what if you run into Doomsy? What if you run into an aircraft? It's a one-off, it's fine, just play it. Stupid against the Kultin and Branded. It's literally just more copies of Impulse at that point, and it's good. It's better going first because it stops Fuvalos and it's still a disruption. Like, yeah, you play this, and at worst it's just fodder for diabellstars, for Dresiela, for whatever. I don't think that Callby is bad at all in the main deck. Onto the extra deck, this is basically the same as last event, except with a couple of particular additions. So let's just start with, I don't know, Gremlina, Griffin for your Earthbounds. Do I have to explain? No? Yeah. For the people who are saying, oh, Kraken is pretty decent this format, right? You can search Secret Village. And, well, the problem here really is just that Kraken is not easy to summon. You would have to go for a really janky line that does a ton of compromises. And, well, sure, you can still end on that plus Dragoon. Any Super Poly, any Lava Golem just kills you instantly. And whilst sure you could say that Lava Golem and Super Poly kill you anyways, Super Poly isn't that bad if you have still Diabell set up. You still have, well, unless they, I don't know, set Albaz then Super Poly, in which case, no, yeah, they physically cannot do that. They cannot Super Poly away Diabells. It's literally just free. So like, yeah, you just play that over Kraken, which Kraken is much less consistent to be summoned than Diabells, so that's why I'm saying that. Not much else to say. You just play Gremlina and Griffin. My brain really wants to play some fancy stuff to like, how do you say it? Oh yeah, to like recycle Griffin and Gremlina. I do have one of them in the sideboard, but anything else is just not worth it. You only play one-offs of these, and whilst sometimes I do want them for the grand game, hilariously enough, in the OTS champs, I just never needed a second Gremlina, ever. Even though usually I do feel like my brain actually feels like I want a second Gremlina, but I never actually do need a second Gremlina. So I don't know what's up with that. Either way, for the Azamina stuff, you have D-Mod, you have Murcielago, you have SP, and I put these two in the end of my extra deck because they are accessible only after I do my combo. So here they are, they're Dragoon and Illa Sylvia. SP, I missed it a couple of times when I wasn't playing it, and whilst I was playing it, it only came up once, and I just didn't need it too much because I was losing anyways. I'm really iffy on SP. SP really feels like she can come up really often, but she just doesn't. Like, my idea for SP really is, what if I droplet a Doomsday board and I want to remove Destruction, but at that point I've committed so many resources that is it really, like, important to have SP? Why not just play something that plays around Board Breakers or plays around Fuva, plays around just, I don't know, more other going second scenarios. No, going second scenarios are just better off being dealt with the non-engine, I would say. SP just so specifically useful. And I had in mind like the argument of, oh, what if I just don't draw Earthbound, I just don't draw any tuners. Well, like, I have a 90% chance to draw a tuner off of Souls and Wanted Draw. Even if I just do Wanted Draw, it's still a pretty decent chance to draw a tuner. So, like, I don't know, I just don't think SP, for the sake of turning these two idiots into a disruption, is really worth it. But like, SP is really nice if you wanna play her, it's perfectly fine. Not much else to say here. Oh no, yeah, there's one thing I have to say, and it's Soul Erexekfon. The Azamina I think I forgot to put in my options. Yeah, it's not in my pile. Oops. But like, that's the third level 6 Azamina, and the reason I wanna play it is because of Azamina Z. She can fusion summon, and that means that using her to try to threaten something is really strong. So like, I was considering it over the SP, even though Azamina Z is still a one-off. Like, it's still a pretty decent chance to draw her with how many cards draw in this deck. And that interaction came up really often, so like, I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but yeah, using LZ to bait out something could have been pretty good. Not gonna dwell on that too much, putting this aside into the synchro stuff. Here, oh no, yeah, one more piece of engine. Here is the Crimson King. The Crimson King is so good, oh my god, I love him. His main goal is hilariously just to be used as a summon for Fiendpiece Golem, so that you can trigger Golem and get the revive off. This basically just makes it another copy of Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which doesn't sound like much, but it's very important for your combo lines. I do recommend it. And also, King gives you the second Gaia, or even a trap card off of your sideboard if you're going first, which is particularly important, I do have to say. And, well, yeah, King is just such a good card, even though it technically doesn't do much in practice, in theory, but it just does so much by giving you a grind game, by giving you smoothing out your combo lines, really. It's really great. I don't have much else to say. I was thinking during early Fury crafting that King would not be necessary because Golem already does the job as a really good card, and King is just superfluous to that. No, King is necessary for your combo lines. Onto the actual synchro stuff. Dragster, 7, best level 7, that's it. Reciela, 1-card combo. Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, basically the most versatile level 8. It's the only thing here that you'd wanna summon off of your Earthbounds. That's also a thing you can summon off of Reciela, and it's just really versatile. I don't know. The one thing I have to say is that into Fuvalos, this is way worse than some of your other options, unless you're playing the regular Stardust Dragon, which I'm not sure if that is worth it. I'll talk about another tech I was thinking about to beat Fuvalos with an Earthbound combo. Like, the Azamina line doesn't struggle too much with beating Fuvalos, but Earthbound certainly does, and this being something else, or at least me having a Stardust Dragon in my extra deck, would have come up a ton. Next is Kilton B2B. Oh my god, what were they thinking when designing this card? This card is so stupid. This is a double Stygian Dirge, which, by the way, if you don't know, that's just +2 levels on your opponent's stuff. And it recycles your tuners twice. And it's an OTK machine, because all tuners can attack twice. This is the only tuner you're gonna be having with any sort of attack, but that's more than good enough, like, I don't know. This card is stupid, and it gives you so many resources, it even gives you disruptions. One of the combo lines, the main combo line in fact, ends on the Crimson King just sitting there doing nothing. And the reason for that is mainly, well, extra deck slots. You don't have the slots to make something and then still have whatever. But, well, it's also pretty nice because you still have a Kilton B2B to make a Chaos Angel, to make a Croco Dragon with this guy, and it's really freaking nice. Speaking of, here's Croco Dragon. And then we have a Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel, oh my goodness gracious, this is so good. In my iterations of Azamina, like for example for Bologna, I just was like, nah, Chaos Angel is not good enough, I just don't have any great ways to summon it light and dark, and also the timing is really jank. Because I would need to summon it on my own turn. At that point, it's just really utility. And if I want a utility synchro, I would play a Draco Berserker or a Juraishin, which is what I did at Bologna. Draco Berserker didn't even come up at Bologna, which was sad. What I mean by Bologna, by the way, is just the Bologna Open in March. I have a video on it, you can check it out. And, well, Chaos Angel, the main reason Chaos Angel is good now is because of B2B. B2B can summon it on your opponent's turn, using Dawn Dragster or the Crimson King. The Crimson King gives you just a banish, but Dragster gives you a stupid amount of value. One play I like to do is use Griffin, shotgun Griffin in the draw phase to summon Sweeper, and then later on in the turn I use B2B to either add back a Keeper or even summon it, so that I already have a body on board to be used with Crimson King to go into a Krakow. And, well, that also sets up a Light and Dark Chaos Angel, because Dragster becomes a level 5 after negating something, and this is crazy. You could say I should chain link one B2B, chain link 2 Griffin, but the argument so that I can summon a Walker if my opponent, I don't know, droplets my Dragster or something. And my argument against that is I didn't have too much blood left in my brain. Oops. Yeah, you should use a chaining 1 B2B, chaining 2 Griffin to get more value. The one iffy thing about that, sorry, to be more safe, not to get more value, because like otherwise Sweeper would just be stuck there in your board to nothing to synchro it off, which is pretty rough. Oh yeah, one thing I have to say, Croco Dragon did not come up once yesterday, which is hilarious, because usually it does come up. Literally 0 times Croco Dragon came up, which is very funny, but like, you cannot cut Croco Dragon. You just cannot cut Croco Dragon, it's way too risky to do that. Well, speaking of, hilariously, I always say that Leviathan is always too risky to, cut. In fact, it came up several times in my first OTS championship, and it performed like garbage in every single other event. It came up twice, and then never again. It's ridiculous. I think this is mainly because Chaos Angel is the much better option in this format off of B2B, because it's instantly triggered. No, instantly triggered does not matter too much. The main thing is that Leviathan can be removed, which smells in a breaker format. And, well, Light and Dark Chaos Angel is just insane this format, because it eats up Kill Tune, it eats up an aircraft, which matters for us, because an aircraft is a really rough matchup. And overall, Leviathan is cool, I just don't think it's just the best synchro ever anymore. It's unfortunate. I do have to say, I'm cutting this forever until, I don't know, there's exactly a format in which non-destruction, non-targeting removal is so beyond essential that you are mandated to play either it or a Chen Ying, but it's not today. But yeah, Croco Dragon is mandatory, unlike Leviathan. Chen Ying though, no, yeah, Chen Ying is in Earthbound worse than Leviathan because you just don't have that many banishes. You have Demod, you have Wanted, but Leviathan being a disruption helps a lot. I will just cut Leviathan and tell you about some replacements in a little bit. Onto the sideboard before I take a break because my throat is killing me. For going first, we have the stupid gang. We have Crossout, Triple Tack, 1-for-1, Crossy for Fuva, and I guess everything else. Oh yeah, and Droll. I'll put Droll here. Droll is mainly for going second, but you need at least one of them for going first because of Crossy. And then we have Triple Tack. Triple Tack is pretty decent going first into Kill Tune, and fine going second into everything else. It can steal your branded stuff. You can steal basically any combo board stuff. I'm unsure if I want to keep it, because it's mainly good into branded and Kill Tune, but it's kind of mid into everything else. And whilst sure, I do say that winning against the top 2 best decks in this format is nice. I'm just not sure if Triple Tack is the way to go. Not sure if there's anything better though, but like, if I have another space I want for like a one-off searchable idiot, I will just cut the TTT for it. Speaking of cuttables, 1-for-1 is probably cuttable. I was thinking, well, I don't have anything else, and that this is, and I just bought the altered 1-for-1, so I might as well play it. In retrospect, I would say that you having a bunch of ways to draw cards like Wanted, and Souls, and the Radiant Typhoon Vision in my utility box. 1-for-1 is just not needed. Like, sure, it's more risky to go for a draw than for a guaranteed thing, but 1-for-1 is only good in breaker-centric, in hand-trap-centric builds, and what I think is better, which is the breaker build, just that physically cannot play it. And also going -1 is dog water for this. You don't go into as much of a minus if you're going for a Souls, because Souls can still be used as a resource for, well, SP if you're gonna still be playing it, diabellstars, deceptions, and hell, even sometimes just synchro level climbing and whatever. For more going for stuff, you have King's Resonance and diabellstar suit. Diabellstar suit is really easy to access off of your Azamina line, your LZ line mid-combo. You can summon level 6s really easily, so like you might as well just, you know, go into the Russia line to LZ line, and then just search a subdual. The one annoying thing about subdual though is that it negates Diabell's activated effect, which means you cannot actually threaten your opponent's set stuff, which means if they have a Dark Ruler no more, this doesn't help with it. And speaking of Dark Ruler no more and helping with it, I was thinking about playing Guardian Chimera. This is in my utility box, but I just want to mention it early because it is important for context. Guardian Chimera and Zenfas White Forest. These are also searchable off of the same things, which means it's kinda iffy. I'm not sure if it's really the best play, but it is a thing you can do, and if you're gonna be playing the hand-trap centric, which I don't recommend, you can play Guardian Chimera plus Zenfas White Forest as just a way to beat breakers a little bit more with the subdual line setup. And this also works with King's Resonance. The idea here is that if your board gets fully negated, they don't use Super Poly, they just use Droplet and Dark Ruler to negate your board. The idea is that the King's Resonance can revive stuff after you use Zenfas White Forest to remove a back-to-back from the board and then summon it back, because B2B is a Dark Synchro, which means it can be revived off of this. This also can be used in the grind game to revive Griffin, which never came up, but it's good to know, I suppose. It's better than nothing, I guess. It's good to keep in mind. Do I regret playing King's Resonance even though it's kinda niche? Not really. It is niche, sure, but threatening your opponent with a unbooking your entire board after they do their entire combo is not nothing, I do have to say, even though it's not too great in this format. Fiendish Golem is not much better, which is the alternative I'll talk about later. But anyways, that's about it for the Go For stuff. On to Go Second stuff, besides Droll, which I mentioned earlier, 3 Radiant, 1 Duster, and 3 Lightning Storm. 3 Lightning Storm because I just wasn't sure of what else to play, and I was very scared of Branded because I just don't have back removal. I've heard from a bunch of people that I'm really just better off playing full breakers into Branded, even though I really wanted to still trust in Bell being a hold on, looking at my video timer, we're half an hour in, and I still have this big of a pile to talk about of techs. Thankfully, a lot of these are just the free offs, but like, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Regardless, I was really scared of Branded and wanted breakers against it, and I don't do too well into back row, so hence why I'm playing 3 Lightning Storm and 1 Duster. And 3 Radiants, very self-explanatory. They're mainly for Doomsday because Destruction kills me instantly. I hardly can play into Droll. I physically cannot play into a mistake or a mistake in a rest. So yeah, this was really... important for nothing, because I never played against Doom Z, but it has come up into Q2. No one expects Radion, and Radion is really good because it's basically just the impulse into Doom Z. Weirdly enough, I do have to say, yeah, it's basically just impulse. It eats a remix. It's even, I would say, more versatile than impulse into Q2. Mainly because it can also eat a B2B. It can eat a what's it called? A Zalen. There we go. I really like Radion this format, I do have to say. Why am I not playing Santa? Well, in this build, I would have to say Radion Santa is a little bit better because you're not playing Symphos plus White Forest like I mentioned earlier. This just means that the Dark Monsters are a lot more beneficiary because you can summon Gremlina to dodge a disruption or something. Basically just a free extension. I'm not sure if Santa is that much better that I would say Radion is just strictly worse, because Radion, if I draw it in multiples, it's an extender. It's pretty decent as that. And yeah, Santa can be used twice in a turn. I really like Radion, man. I don't know. I have the Santas, but like, yeah, I would say Radion being able to be an extender is, I don't know if it's my greedy brain talking, but I have to say this is a pretty decent tech over Santa. Even though you can use Santa in multiples, and it's also just better into Lunalight. Man, I would say Radion is just better. One thing, speaking of Radion and towers in general, is that the Dragon that Devours the Dogma has been really rough to fight in my opens because it's just a big ass towers and I cannot punch over it with any of my monsters. So Chaos Angel and, well, Radion. I didn't play Radion into Branded because it's not getting to any other Branded thing. But the Chaos Angel helped a little bit. Even though hilariously no one summoned the Dogma yesterday, it was just one Branded opponent, that's it. But either way, I do have to say, this is one more reason Chaos Angel is so good this format. In Earthbound, I just can use it for free. That's about it for the list I played yesterday. There are a lot of things I want to change and everything, but I'll take a little break and then go into my utility box and, well, here's a little sneak peek. I don't know, the time skip is gonna be 2 seconds for you and an hour for me. I'll see ya in a little bit. Alright, let's get on to the fancy text. So, let's just start with the one that was right here. Here is Azamina adapters. Some Azamina, some decks that play the Azamina engine, way to formulate that sentence, do play Depters because, well, it's basically just hollowed, but it is better into Fuvalos exactly. In the grind game, it's about the same if you're only summoning Ilia Sylvia. However, in Earthbound, you kinda need to use Hollowed because Muricielago is so integral to your combos by letting you summon Don Dragster very easily, and Don Dragster can help with breakers, can help with power spells. Well, FMVs, your Branded High Spirits, why am I just talking about Branded? I don't know, but like, Dragster is a really strong card, so like, giving it up for this is not too great. I am considering cutting Hollowed for this, but you should really just play both of them, why not? In some situations you want Hollowed, in some situations you want this, and sometimes just having both in rotation is really nice. This way you can get both Ilia Sylvia and Muricielago in the grind game. One to contest the opponent's stuff and the other to generate infinite value and try to aim for an OTK, which is really strong. I really like this card in theory. Let's hope it's actually good in practice. The one time I've tested it, literally I played one match because I just didn't have enough time that day, and well, Every other time I was just testing a list without depthers. The one time I did test it, it felt really nice to have it just for the grind game and as an additional search target. Sometimes Azamina LZ as a target is pretty good, but this is particularly nice. That's about it. It's also a quick play spell, which Radiant Typhoon Vision. Okay, let's just go out of the way and talk about Radiant Typhoon Vision. This card is insane. It's drugs, and I love it. Why is it that? Well, it's draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's it. It's draw 2 cards. It's draw 2 cards. This is one of my favorite pieces of non-engine they've released ever. It's, first of all, just Allure Darkness for quick plays, which I love as design. You can't really play Allure Darkness in Earthbound unless you're playing, for example, Dangers, because banishing any of your monsters, even the free outs, is really annoying in the grind game, and I just wouldn't recommend it, honestly. This card also gets you MST. MST is a little weird, this format. It helps a little with Branded, really nice with Doom Z. The problem is that you can't activate RTV to search MST against Doom Z because of the mistake. And, well, it is fine into it's not fine into a Neocraft, which is a bad matchup for Earthbound. What else was I thinking about that's a problem in this current meta? Doomsday, Elf Note, I guess. Sky Striker is literally a non-issue for Earthbound. I don't know how that happens, but yeah, I have a very good win rate against Striker somehow. It's not great into Fairy Tail. Okay. Yeah, MST, as I said, is really weird this format, which is why you could just play it in the sideboard and these free main. This card doesn't even need to be non-engine. This can just be consistency. This is absurd. I just really like RTV, I don't know. It's also particularly important to note that the RTV can use both its effects in one turn if you have multiples, which just, man, I love this card. It was stupid in Genesis and yeah, had to be pointed. And well, the one place I can play it is Advanced, so I'm gonna be playing it. I think this was also in my Bologna list. I don't remember really well. Well, I do remember playing it, I just don't remember if it was in my Bologna list. Let me know in the comments if you're gonna be watching that video later on. Just to, I don't know, if you wanna see the evolution of how Azamina has changed not only with Blazing Dominion, but also just with me being better at deck theory and exploring more of my options. I thought I had a very well teched out build with Dark Highlander, which, spoiler alert, is not in this utility box, because Dark Highlander, at a certain point, whilst playing Qtune, you're already winning if you're able to even get the Dark Highlander, so it's just not necessary to play. Anyways, that's not the point. Here is Vader. Just a one-off. I've been playing it in, well, the hand trap build right here, mainly because it's searchable off of Rusiela. That has come up a decent amount of times, but as I said, again, hand trap build is not good enough. You cannot just one-for-one trade into Branded, into Doomsday, into Elf Note, yeah, it's not good. Tellar Knight laughs at your face. Yeah, Vader is not good. I guess this could be used to, like, eat up Ptolemaios against the Satyr Knight, but, like, it's a one-off. You're playing it at one. You just play Imperms if you really want a target negate hand trap, which, yeah, I would just not recommend. Still, though, I really sometimes do miss it because it's just searchable off of Rusiela, but it's not worth it. Onto Scourge, this is also searchable off of Rusiela. It's pretty good going first, and it's really just a toss-up between this and Vanadium Reframing with a Visas Amritara in the extra deck. So the reason I think this is better, even though this does not stop Forbidden Droplet, is because first of all, nothing. This is just because you can tribute a guy to get a negate off, and then you can use King's Resonance. I described it earlier with Symphos plus a White Forest, but you can just revive a Chaos Angel or a B2B most of the time. B2B leading you into Chaos Angel, into 2 additional disrupts on top of B2B being a stupid floodgate. So yeah, this is a pretty nice interaction. And although, to be fair, Rare Framing is a spell speed free card, which is really nice. So it's really just up to preference, but I don't know. Going for this plus... Oh wait, no, you physically cannot use this plus, I don't know, add 8 synchro. I guess you can... Yeah, I'm not really sure whether I wanna play this card or not. But it is... It's so weird. Like, Raziel is not good as a synchro body for back-to-back unless you're playing Azalin, which... I guess it's fair. Zalin is not terrible if you're playing with Diabell, but yeah, I just don't think Scourge is it. I will try to find my answer to what I should play as basically a non-negate for Nationals in next week. I need to figure something out quick, but it's either this or what's it called? Scourge. Not Scourge. Well, Subdual. Yeah, I played it yesterday. Come on, for Diabell to prevent stuff like Droplet. People are still playing Dark Ruler though, so this is not nothing. Anyways, onto Draco Berserker. I'm really not sure whether I want to play Draco Berserker, but it is important to note that this card is much better into Fuvados than Axel Stardust, unless you're playing Stardust Dragon. But then again, Stardust Dragon is not really that useful outside of this scenario. Like, you could play it to try and dodge a FMV, try to dodge a, I don't know, to force your opponent to not pop their own stuff with Doomsy, I suppose. That's not nothing, and yeah, it makes your Synchro and the Stardust Dragon itself into, into towers for the turn you're summoning them. I'm considering between these two, and also the last level 8 of this, I don't know, trio, I guess, which is Diabell. Diabell is probably the most enticing of the bunch. These two help with Fuvalos very straightforwardly, no caveats. This is utility, this is a meta pick, and well, making a immune Croco Dragon is pretty decent. I don't know, it can become very big. The annoying thing is that Croco Dragon is really awkward to make as a quick synchro because, well, Croco Dragon requires more hand traps to be good, unless you're just relying on Ballen and drawing Impulse every single time, but like, that's not gonna happen. And well, Draco Berserker is utility, and it's also OTK piece. Diabell though is much more interesting. This is also something you'd wanna play to dodge Fruva. This gets you a Pure Light Chaos Angel. Pure Light is a little bit annoying, I suppose, because it doesn't protect your board from battle destruction. But well, an unaffected Synchro board is still very threatening. That's not nothing. God, I really love to say that that's not nothing, huh? I was even considering playing Diabell over Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which I'm very iffy about. Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon is always like the best level 8 to go into ever. Like, sure, Diabell can also get into B2B using Formula Synchron, and Formula Synchron is overall a decent card to play in Earthbound, just because of Magician's Souls plus Groundkeeper. You can get into this if you have a really weird hand, or if you start the Azamina line and have, for example, a Keeper left over and just want to get an additional Disruptor. This also gets you a free draw, like, I don't know, this seems very enticing. You could also play Zalen. Zalen though is hard to summon by means outside of Diabell, even though it's such a nice body, because it can be a tuner or a non-tuner, which I guess it's decent-ish for exactly Azamina Z into a Croco or a Draco Berserker, which you're not playing Draco Berserker, you're playing these two, so like, I don't know. I don't think Zalen is very good, but Formula Synchron has really high potential. I really like Formula with Diabell, but these two can be really nice, so like, I'll figure it out in due time, but these three are all very solid options. I just am not sure if Berserker is the best. It's never bad, but it is never also the best option. Diabell also notably lets you recycle your spells or your impulses, which particularly makes my monkey brain very happy, because I love getting infinite value off of stuff. Imagine getting a Forbidden Crown off of this. It would be so stupid, but like, you're also already winning anyway, so like, why would that matter? Moragina. This makes Chaos Angel, that's it. This also is very important because I've noticed in my games that removal is very rough. Your main two pieces of removal in this deck that are not just Omni Negates, or, well, Dragster or whatever, is exactly Levilazable, which didn't come up and is just worse than Chaos Angel. And speaking of, you have Chaos Angel, you have Croco, and that's it. SP, but like SP can't be used too often because it eats up your harmonic plays. So yeah, it's just really janky. Hence why I've been thinking about just foregoing the, I don't know, Moragina thing and just playing, foregoing the Diabell thing to try and dodge Fuvados and just directly go into a Moragina. Moragina, just being free removal to simplify game states way easier is really nice, especially because you get out, you usually run out of extra deck fuel super often, so I don't know, just having this card sounds really good. I'll keep it in mind. I'm not sure, this card cannot be sided like physically, unlike say Stardust, which is definitely the most sideable of the three Bunguses, because it's purely going first, which with a little going second niche. Moragina though, it's just a grind game. I'm not sure if it's worth it, but I really like it in concept. It gives you 2 pops and a Chaos Angel, or even revives Diabell if your opponent didn't suffer enough. That's about it. I'll test it out. Then is Morian and Fiendish Golem. The alternatives to what I played in the side deck these days, which are Subdual and the King's Resonance. Fiendish Golem is really just for Hot Red Abyss, which has performed terribly, honestly. I didn't miss it too much. This card is really strong. It's an Omni Negate that targets, which means that if you flip it with Morian or use Fiendish Golem on it, that means... Oh wait, I just realized I'm so dumb. I don't need Fiendish Golem if I have Morian, and Morian is free of the Azamina line. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. Oh no. Yeah, I can play... not this. I can just play King's Resonance plus Morian, and the Subdual if I'm playing against a Branded or Sky Striker. This enables Hot Red really nicely, but I'm not sure if I want to play Hot Red. Hot Red is just so only summonable deep into your combos that I really don't want to say it's worth it. I've summoned it once the day I brought it, and the other days I just had other ways to deal with breakers, so I just didn't care. Like, Subdual is good enough. You have King's Resonance as just a niche pick. You have Sinful Esposo of White Forest being really nice, the fusion spell. And just hand traps in general help me with board breaker, so I really don't think this is worth it. But if you want to play Hot Red for, I don't know, sentimental reasons, if you just like the card, if you think Omni Negates are fun, yeah, play it alongside Morian. Don't play Fiendish Golem, play King's Resonance. That's about it for these three. This should not be here. Yeah, here's Dark Highlander. I mentioned it earlier. This is not good, this format. Sure, Q2 immediately explodes upon it. They cannot Rico, they can Fidraulis, but they would need to know that you're summoning that, and then pop your B2B through 2 Omni Negates, so that's not happening. And, well, this card dies to hand traps. Why? Because you need to go full combo, or at least like half combo to get into this. If you draw Crimson Gaia, plus, I don't know exactly Walker, you can make this very freely, or any very niche combination, but this is just not good enough in this format. In the past format, in which, even if I go full combo, Yummy could still kick my ass, Dark Highlander would just be the nail in the coffin, I would say. It was fine, it's not great, it kinda still was overkill over like a Dawn Dragster. Yeah, I really don't think this is good outside of Genesis sideboards, in which board breaking is much weaker. You also have weaker Omnis, but in Earthbound Genesis you do have these negations for their board breakers, so I really don't think Dark Highlander is that bad in that format. Either way, here's Juraisin. I'm really not sure what to think about Juraisin. It has come up a couple of times. I really wanted a Synchro 11. It could have also been a Punisher, it could have been a Disturbim. Disturbim is not good in Earthbound, honestly. You don't have enough Dark Idiots that you wanna banish. Like, you don't wanna banish Griffin, you don't wanna banish a Gremlina. I really don't think Disturbim is worth it, but Punisher or Juraisin would have come up in a decent amount of situations. So like, I'm considering it, but also in sad situations, I was able to just make Croco Dragon with no issues. Sure, you do lose out on the value because of Harmonic, but this being traded out for a piece of versatility, like for example a Draco Berserker, is more than worth it. Sure, you have 2 slots with me cutting both SP and Levilazable off of my list, but Juraishin, I don't know. I've wrote in my script for the Earthbound Deck Core guide that Juraishin is really weird. After saying it's mandatory, I changed the script and now I'm just changing it again because it's just an iffy card. You can perfectly fine play without it just because of Croco Dragon basically fulfilling the same role and being much easier to summon. Yeah, I think Juraishin is a... if you want utility, you can play it, but I'm considering either Ericsson, whatever it's called, Eric, or Moragina over it if I really wanted utility, yeah. Next is just all non-engine. Let's start with the obvious. First of all, Radiant Typhoon Vision, yeah, duh. And then there's Forbidden Crown, very real ones right here. I'm buying them at Bologna. I asked my cousin if he could search the stores for them because I just cannot order online and then have them arrive late. That would just be a waste of money. I'd rather pay a premium for crowns than to have them already for a stupid video. Yeah, it's a stupid video because, well, I'm buying it for just the video. That's pretty stupid. So either way, Crown is the best card in the format. Y'all remember the Sylvia interview I did? The top 16 YCS Columbus Radiant Typhoon list? Yeah, in that video I was really skeptic about Crown because I told Sylvia, do you think you have some budget options over Crown? Because like people just can't afford to spend you know, $60 on this card. It used to be $30, I'm so dumb in retrospect, but regardless, I was like, do you really want to spend $60? Crown is like good, but it's not that good, surely. No, Crown is nuts. Crown is so dumb. Every single game that Crown was involved in, I got my ass kicked, and I just want to play Crown. It's actually genuinely the best card in the format. Right now, it stops branded really well. It stops Doomsday a little bit. What it does really nicely is also it eats every single deck in the format, you know. And it's extremely good going first, not only because it's a free disruption, but it's also a way to not die. If you have a guy in defense position, unless they can just memento OTK you by attacking directly, or they have several pieces of piercing damage, like I think Dinos, I don't remember. I don't remember who had a bunch of piercing damage. But if they don't have either of those, which are also really niche, or they aren't playing at Neacraft, this is just anti-lethal, and it's really nice, even though it doesn't come up too often. I just want to mention it. I just really want to play this card. It's so stupid dumb. Yeah. Onto this is just all in Neacraft tech, which is hilarious. Let me get the other stuff. Okay. So. Eclipse. Eclipse is really nice this format. It eats a KT boards, which is pretty cool. I guess, yeah, it eats a remix, it forces out double disrupts of Q2 Synchro and Zalan immediately. And, well, you force out two, and they have a mix that sure gives you free-ish disrupts, which is not bad, but yeah, this eats two. That's good enough. Into Branded, you can shotgun it in the draw phase. That's also really nice. Into Doomsy, you do have to have a Droplet, a Dark Ruler, or a Crown to have this function, because otherwise they're just gonna be negating it. But then again, against Doomsy, it's really just you need to draw two breakers, otherwise you're dying instantly. Eclipse is just overall good in this format, except against the Neacraft, which is scary, and Clowns, but like Clowns don't do anything, I've been told. I've lost to Clowns so many times just because of sheer hand traps. There is also another deck that should just be shotgunning hand traps other than KT, and not play too much breakers, I feel. I don't know. Either way, Eclipse is a really strong card. I'm definitely gonna be playing it in my breaker build. Of Earthbound, I'll show a little build after I go through all the decks. So next is Godos. Godos is horrible this format. You should just play Bestials in your sideboard. I don't know what. And even then, Bestials are kind of mid if you don't have anything to search with them. Here you have exactly the Strudo, which is just not worth it. This Strudo is not a good extender in Earthbound because it's a tuner, and having it searchable off of Bestials is just kind of nothing. But the Godos is very funny. The idea of Godos was against the Kill Tomb, you revive a Q, and then you make a Lighted Dark Chaos Angel. KT has a terrible time against Light Dark Chaos Angel, so it is very nice to have this card. The problem is just that the main theoretical upside I was thinking is what if I summon Q and she gets me Keeper Walker? Surely that would be amazing. I said to myself. Then my friends pointed out that Q is only a normal summon. I suppose it's fair, but it's so random because, like, I don't know, KT doesn't really special summon it normal summons a bunch with Rotary and JJ, but it doesn't special summon, so I really do think that the Q being only a normal summon is pretty weird, but it is what it is. I guess they didn't want to mix Revive Q and B2B Revive Q, and before you say, oh, B2B got released later, they know what they're doing. I guess they wanted to prevent that, which is fair enough, yeah. But yeah, that was the main theory. Against Branded, you really do need Bestials if you're even gonna be playing one of these eat the graveyard hand traps. You need to eat the fusions, and the fusions cannot be summoned off of this guy because they were dumped in a manner that makes them not triggerable. Then there's just the Enea deck, 3 Puru, 3 evenly. Not the ratios vary. You may change them up like as you wish. I think Frost package for evenly doesn't sound too bad at this format, but I would need Illusion Gate, and I just don't wanna pay another $50 on staples. I wouldn't mind paying for sparks if I really need them, but at this point, I'm just playing Impulse and Breakers. I really don't want to spend on one more Illusion Gate for $50. It's just absurd. I could use them in Genesis, but I just really want to wait for a reprint. Plus, my sideboard, which is this right here, will contain 3 more ashes over. This is the extra deck. The sideboard I showed earlier, which is free because I'm cutting one of the Elstorms. Free Radian. These 3 go first cards, draw, and these 3 which are becoming ashes. I really just don't have the space, you know, to play like a Frost package. Sure, cutting another one of these gives me 2 slots. I could cut a Radian, maybe? It's all just super iffy because, well, Radian is just mandatory to fight against the Doomsday when playing Earthbound. Frost doesn't really work because they just negate it. They don't care. And if you're able to Frost Droplet, I don't know, the Eclipse also works at that point. I guess that's not terrible if they try. And lastly is RDA. These were just the really basic Enea Eaters. They also work against the other decks. I'm not sure what are the decks you're playing that to play into Puruvo. Yeah, Elf Note cares a little, I guess. Meh. Spellcasters, I don't think they care. Like, they can just not. They have plenty of ways to summon from grave rather than hand, so yup. It is a death sentence against the Raging Typhoon, but I really don't think that's gonna be too popular. And with me playing a bajillion freaking back row removal plus droplets and crowns, I really don't think it's too much of an issue that I really want to play Puru in the side deck. Same with Evenly. Evenly is really nice. I would say I would play over Duster Storm if it wasn't for Branded. Branded, if you don't kill it, they're killing you next turn. It's not like a majority of decks can't kill you after you evenly and then full combo, but Branded can still pull through even if you do full combo after an evenly, because they still have 1 card on board. They still have a Rimbram. They still have, well, not many cards in hand, sometimes a Mercurier, I suppose. They have a Granguignol in the graveyard, usually. Yeah, they can just summon it to dump a Rimbram, that's 2 additional disrupts. You still need to contest against so much stuff against an evenly. And you just you just don't let them get any back row value if you're on Elstone Duster. And plus, those are really good into Striker. Even though Striker is fine as a matchup, I don't know. Lastly is RDA. This is very funny. So the idea behind this is that this, summoned off of the Crimson King, becomes an indestructible 6,000 gigantic beatstick that murders an aircraft. They can use the Scorpion to dodge this effect, of course, but also they have. I'm pretty sure they have no way to get rid of this guy outside of exactly the whale. And even then, the whale, I guess you could use a Bow Breaker on. Not Eclipse, which stings. But you still have Crown, you still have Droplet, you still... I don't know. I really like the rule of 3, that's why I say 3 things so often. I force myself to find a 3rd thing to say so often, but... yeah, there's really no 3rd thing. You just draw Droplet or Crown. And yeah, this can also be decent into like what? Yeah, Lunalight, sure, but Lunalight isn't seen play anymore. People are just playing Doomsday as the semi-tower deck of choice. Even then, Doomsday just the Floodgate Turbo, so like, yeah. This is a cool tech rather than anything good, but like if literally everyone at your locals is playing Neacraft, play this. Yeah, that's your best bet as your 15th extra deck slot. Now that I think about it, I suppose I have 13 slots extra with SP and SP and what's it called? Frickin' well, SP and Levilazable. Yeah, I didn't even give him a name. Yeah, this is 5. This is 5. And this is 3. These two cut. You could play Super Poly and Earthbound now. I've always been really iffy about this because, well, you really do wanna have flexibility. And just taking up 2 slots for Super Poly when you could be playing, say, a Berserker for anti-Fuvalos, a Diabell for really strong anti-Fuvalos that also gives you value in the grind game, a Regina which could give you a Chaos Angel, it gives you also a fix to one of the deck's pretty hefty weaknesses, which is just not being able to remove things at will, and also being kind of weird into the back row. You have a Stardust Dragon, you have Juraisin, you have, Formula, you have so many things you'd want to play over a Super Poly. I guess I can test the Mud Dragon plus the Theseus. No one's really playing stuff that could be Garurad. Against Fairy Tail, you could play Chorozo. Chorozo is also like not a bad card in this deck, because again it's just a free tuner, but it is also not very good because the level of 4 is super niche here. You don't really have that many 6s that would actually benefit here because, well, 6 plus 4 is a Chaos Angel, not a Levilazable. If you were playing Levilazable, then Chorozo is not a bad card, but if you're playing Chorozo, that also means you're not playing Levilazable because of space concerns, so it just is a big snowball effect into you're not playing Super Poly. Do I think Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon is good? The one problem I have with Ecclesia is, hold on, I have my PC very wonkily placed. Wrong thing, hold on. Okay, I don't really think you have any good targets to summon off of Ecclesia of the Black Dragon, so that you can play Fallen the Virtuous. The reason I'm not mentioning, say, Dragon that Devours the Dogma or Albion is because, yeah, I can play Ecclesia plus a guy. Ecclesia is still like a 8 synchro, like that's pretty decent. You could even play it substituting Axel Stardust, which again I'm iffy on, but it's not bad by any means. What does Mercurier do? Nothing. That's great. Also, like, Ecclesia is also $50 when I could have bought her at the 20. I was like super iffy on her at 20 and was thinking like, 20? Nah, I'm waiting until she goes down to 10. Like a moron. But either way. Yeah. Yeah, there's really not that many good targets off of Ecclesia. Cortesia is like the best one, but Cortesia can only summon Dracostapelia in this build, and well, Dracostapelia is an additional extra deck slot. Sure, you can Super Poly Branded that way, but Branded is not just standing on a fusion plus a dark anymore and losing instantly off of it. Yeah, you really need a bunch of more stuff. And plus, if you're playing Dracostapelia, you're not playing FMV, same story as before. I really do think that's about it for the tags. The reason for Super Poly and FMV not being here should be obvious after all I said. You just don't have the slots to play them. I will test out a bunch of stuff during the week whilst I prep for my freaking final exam for high school. And well, that's about it for the yap, so I'll get some rest and then prepare some combos. Alright, so let's begin with the Keeper 1-card combo. So, let's lead the Keeper effect. By the way, if you start Sweeper, this combo is a whole lot better into Fuvalos. You can't really control if you do that or not, if you're able to do that or not, because Sweeper is not always gonna be what you're starting with, but if you start with Sweeper, you revive him from the grave and don't summon him from deck. I don't know why I'm shuffling, it's just a test hand, come on. Sink these off into the Ciela. Pitch your spell, get a Azamina LZ. Summon her, this is summon 4, and here is summon 5 with Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. You wanna chain 1. No, yeah, if they had Bell, they would have already used it on Keeper, so it doesn't really matter. 1, 2. You grab your Deception. I found going for Deception rather than Wanted into Deception is a whole lot better. That's really it. I've tried the other way around, starting with Wanted, but just not it. Revive Keeper, this is summon 6. If the Nibiru here, you still have this for the entire freaking Azamina line. And Murcielago stays on board, because you shuffle Azamina LZ off of Hollowed, so yeah, Nibiru can't really punch over Dragoon. They can still punch over Ilya Sylvia, but they skip over their battle phase to do that, so they can kill you, and you do have, like, cards in hand, I don't know. Either way, here you will Deception, eat this for, yes, why am I looking at my extra deck? I'll go for a Hollowed. I'm talking like I have an opponent in front of me. I mean, I guess I should be comfy with it. Add a Hollowed, activate it right now. See, this is what I say about people who say, oh yeah, you should just play Depters. No, you have to play both. White Forest also plays both. In fact, people are playing like 2 Hollowed, 1 Depters in White Forest, which is particularly funny. They have around the same amount of spells as we do. Anyways, Murcielago effect, get Wanted. And, well, they could Nibiru here, I guess. I don't know. This baits out Nibiru. And you still have Ilya Sylvia, but they can crash into Dragoon in this case, which is not very nice. Either way, my opponent is fake, and a lot of people are just not playing hand traps, especially not Nibiru in this format, so yeah. Now I'm gonna do this. You can either directly summon the diabellstar, go for D-Mod, and then make Croco Dragon with these 2, or instead you just draw 1 and then discard a card for the diabellstar, use these 2 for a Dragster, and this gets you Dragster, which is much better than Croco Dragon most of the time. Even though I forgot to put this in my utility box earlier, but Jade Dragon Mech could be pretty nice for Revolution Synchron, which is not a terrible card to draw, I guess. And that leads you to back-to-back instantly, which can be really nice in specific lines. This does lose you one of the synchros you would be playing for this, but you're cutting Croco Dragon, and I guess you could play Berserker or a Diabell to replace the void of not having a synchro to make. Hell, even Leviathan could work, but at that point it's just really overkill, so it's fine either way. Anyways, back to this. You're usually gonna go for a Dragster unless you really want to make, I don't know, B2B off of Jade. No, yeah. You could also, like, not go for D-Mod, keep Murcielago or don't. Then these two into the Crimson King. Into a Vision, make a B2B, grab a King's Resonance, and then pass on that. You do lose out on Dragoon, but you also have Ilia Sylvia and Murcielago as bodies. It really depends on the matchup. I found myself doing this against Qultune, against other Synchro decks, really. And it helped really nicely, so... the only problem is really just not having Dragoon. Where the hell is Wanted? You set Wanted here because it's a quick, that's really it. You get additional value, and off of Dragoon you can discard the diabellstar. So that you can revive her and get another Wanted or a Deception for a free draw. Oh, I forgot my draw off of Wanted. Let's just get a Fuvalos for demonstration purposes, which I'll pitch off of the diabellstar. This is set. Make these into Dragster. It's funny because I'm stupid and I told you all the options of the line, like the D-Mod plus Keeper for a Jade and the Crimson King line before actually giving you the proper line, which is just this. Set Wanted, you have a Gaze of Timaeus off of this. The one thing I want to note here is a Simple Exposure White Forest is really nice here. You have these two, which one, once used, is just free fusion material, and the other is just fusion material, so you might as well. The only real problem is that you have to use Simple Exposure White Forest before you go into Dragoon in this case, which is just really janky. No, yeah, it's just janky and not very nice. You have these two. You're setting Gaze as just for the sake of board breakers. If they try to Dark Ruler these two, you still have a Dragoon. And well, if they droplet, no more droplet on Dragoon, which means they need to put additional effort into disposing of it, which is pretty freaking good. Anyways, let's get on to the diabellstar Keeper 2-card combo. This is basically just the premier combo you're looking for most of the time. I'll also show the Sweeper combo because it just is that much different. Like, Keeper and Sweeper always look like the same card, but they just are not, because Keeper is so much better to draw. Simply because Sweeper can be used later off of Grimlina to get you a to give you Sweeper into Vision, into Griffin, into full combo. Hell, the Sweeper line can't even afford to make Griffin unless you go into a very specific line, which just sucks. Anyways, let's get into this combo. Discard Fuva for diabellstar. Effect to get me a Deception. Set this. Activate Deception, no effect. A lot of people got confused every single time I say activate Deception. I would just say place Deception or flip over Deception so that they don't get confused that I'm instantly tributing her, which would be a terrible misplay. Don't do that. Either way, flip this. With the spell you just activated, banish diabellstar for D-Mod. Effect of D-Mod gets me a free Gaze of Timaeus. In this format, not many people are playing Nibiru, and the one person I know that plays Nibiru, a friend that got top 37 at British Nationals with Clown, she played Nibiru main, and it just did nothing. So I would say keep Gaze of Timaeus in your hand for later on so that you play around breakers a little bit better. And if you're really scared of a Nibiru when going first opposed siding, you just need to consider the matchup. Stuff like Branded sometimes plays Nibiru if they're crazy. And Neacraft definitely plays Nibiru, I'm pretty sure. Kultun does not play Nibiru. Doomsday, they could play Nibiru, I guess. All the breaker decks can play Nibiru as just a quote-unquote heavy impact because no one expects Nibiru. I don't really like that form of they don't expect it. Like, I like Radiant because, well, what are they gonna do about it? But also, Nibiru is just not it, honestly. So I would keep this in hand unless you definitely know it's like, I don't know, a magnet deck in which they definitely are playing Nibiru for the sake of it. Either way, back to this. You tribute D-Mod, get yourself a hollowed. Man, having double sleeves just makes my cards so big. It's so annoying to search through them. I feel like I'm playing Commander. But my very nice, very cute yugioh sleeves would be dead without the double sleeve, so well. Now you hollow. Pitch this for Risielago. Risielago effect, it gets me a wanted. If you already have wanted in the graveyard, you add Deception off of this. Or if post-siding, you definitely always go for Morian, even if you don't have wanted in the graveyard. It is yucky that you don't get Morian if you don't open wanted or like you don't get the draw, but it is fine as a trade-off. You also lose on the diabellstar, which could be discard fodder, but Morian is free anti-thing. What's it called? Anti-breakers. You might as well, if you're playing Morian at all, which is not a bad pack still. It's weird this format, but oh well. It can be fine-ish into branded, it's not good into Q2. Anyways, this is engrave. You go keeper. This looks so weird to me. Like no omnis, just raw dogging, having these idiots on board. It feels really weird to have that. But in this format, I do have to say it's probably correct to just disrespect Nibiru until game 2 and 3. Grab Harmonic. Yes, that is what you do, Area. Yeah, summon Walker. You summon Walker for Harmonic, instantly Harmonic, these two away for a Dragster and a Gremlina. Now you use Gremlina effect to get yourself a Sweeper. Yeah, you keep this first. You first do this just in case. If the Nibiru here, they're nuts, but if they actually do, you still do have Elia Sylvia as a body, so that you can use your Sweeper for Vision for a back-to-back, which is not bad. But like, yeah, they're not Nibiruing you here. Either way, grab Hollowed, Wanted. Wanted grabs me a diabellstar. And if you're playing Morian, you definitely, as soon as this chain resolves, with Wanted being pitched and summoned, you activate Morian if this were a Morian, so that you don't forget about it, or if they chain Nibiru, they can't really do much. If Morian is already set, it's perfectly fine there. From here, you have diabellstar, discard fodder, you use Sweeper, grab yourself a Vision. Here is the first card in the deck. You summon Vision, you have very cramped board, which is why we're summoning Joe Griffin in the extra monster zone. This is very important. This is like so important. I cannot, I just cannot, period. I physically cannot even. You definitely must put Griffin in the extra monster zone, otherwise your combo is screwed. Anyways, add Gaia. Gaia's effect will let me get where is it? Yeah, Fiend Peace Golem. There we go. You summon the Green Peace Golem, go into a the Orange King. Orange King for Orange King 1, Green Peace Golem for a. You can Walker for a Diabell, but like, or a Berserker, but the much better play is to go into Keeper. Green Sun King into Gaia. And then, now with Thanks to Fin Peace Golem getting me a tuner, I can use Griffin to get myself a non-tuner in the form of Stone Sweeper. And now, thanks to the second Crimson Gaia I have in hand, very conveniently, I put Griffin in defense for demonstration purposes, put Griffin in attack. Like, yeah, you don't want it to be popped, even though it itself wants to be popped. Either way, you summon Rusiela. Rusiela always pitches the one on field. This is because the one in hand is much safer in hand. If they have backrow removal, they can't just kill it and eat your grind game. They have to fight for it. Okay, my deck is 20 times smaller now, so I can just take it. Go for LZ. Now this is where you're getting Subdual. You're not getting it off of off of Murcielago. As okay as that play is, I just don't think it's worth it. Now you go for Excel Dust, and with LZ you'll get another Simple Spoil. Well, I guess in this case you get both Wanted and Morian. You're happy, and that's it. You get a Wanted pre-sideboarding because you just don't have anything. You set it, I don't know, there's no precautions here because there's no anti-Dark Ruler like a Hot Red. And now with Excel Stardust you revive a Vision. And from here you're making a back-to-back. You're making it using Excel Stardust here, but if you were playing the regular Stardust Dragon, you definitely make it with Vision plus King. This should be obvious. Stardust Dragon, the original Stardust Dragon helps here to make a quick synchro. To make a quick synchro play. The one problem here is zones. Unless Ila Sylvia dies, you just don't have the zones to do this play. No, yeah, you do. You absolutely have to play the zones. But this Excel Stardust line could also just be a Diabell. Usually though, Excel Stardust is gonna be the best thing, unless instead of a Fuvalos here, you pitched say, a Droplet or a Crown or an Impulse. Impulse is stupid good going first. Either way, you just set Gaze. On the opponent's turn, you will use Ila Sylvia, use Dragster, use Ila Sylvia, then Turbo Gaze of Timaeus to summon Dragoon by shuffling your D-Mod. Don't forget Dragoon self-banishes the Gaze self-banishes the Dragoon after your next turn, which is relevant. So that which is relevant because if you summon Dragoon on your own turn, that would mean that this turn, or rather this turn, which is the opponent's turn, Dragoon dies. Either way, you use Dragster, Chainlink 1, B2B, Chainlink 2, Griffin to go into a Sweeper. By the way, you never do a sequence like this. Chainlink 1 Dragster, Chainlink 2 your opponent's monster, Chainlink 3 B2B to turn Dragster into a Chaos Angel. This means that the Dragster cannot change its level, which means that its negate won't pop off. So, yeah. Only make Chaos Angel afterwards. It's not like you're in a rush, you have 20 trillion disruptions here. So, yeah. The one iffy thing here, I guess, is what if I just don't go for Crimson King? Why not? Why not just directly go for, you already have Walker plus a Golem, you use Griffin to revive Keeper, go into that line, you have a Walker on board, which is a lot more convenient if you have a Draco Berserker or a Diabell in here. And yeah, that's a fair assessment to do if you're going for a Diabell line. Tip, if you're not playing either Berserker or Diabell, this to get an additional Crimson Gaia in rotation is very important. But that's about it for this line. Let's get into the last line before... I'll see if I wanna do a test hand, but... yeah, this and then I'll see later if it's needed. I don't know. Let's check hands later. So all this back. Let's get diabellstar, sweeper, and a blank. You shotgun sweeper to get yourself a groundkeeper. In this line, I am really iffy if I even wanna go into D mod, but oh well. There is a way to go into a Crimson King line here, which is really strong. I'll show it to you. Diabellstar for Fuvalos, grab it yourself a Deception, activate Deception, banish Diabellstar for D-Mod. In this case, you're gonna be adding souls if you wanna go for the greedy line. If you don't wanna vote or are going for Jade Dragon Mech, I'm not sure which line to show you, man. I could go for the Gaze line or I could go for the Souls line. The Souls line is a lot fancier, but it is worse if you're playing Jade Dragon Mech. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna show the Gaze line. Gaze line is a lot more standard and is malleable if you're playing Jade. Either way, you're getting this. Activate for Hollowed. Hollowed effect, pitch this for a Murcielago. Murcielago to get yourself a Wanted. Now, Keeper, Walker, Harmonic. From here you activate Harmonic, go into a Jackster and a Gremlina. Gremlina gets a Sweeper. The reason you want to have Sweeper, even if, oh well, it could be affected by Joel, you play so much worse into Ash Blossom. This gives you the option of Vision Resonator on follow-up, which I say is very important for this line. If you're going for the Souls line, which by the way is literally just summon Keeper, Souls, and Murcielago for the Crimson King, and then summon Vision, and then grab Vision, summon back to back, use Gaia to get a Golem, then Golem plus Walker to go into a Harmonic line from there. That's basically the line. But in this line, you get the Sweeper. In that other line, you get the Keeper for follow-up. Because you already have a Gaia, you already have a whatever you need. Oh, no, yeah, no, nothing. I was thinking about a re-janky line, but that's not worth it. If you go for the Souls line, that gets it back-to-back plus the RDA Grand Game. Either way, back to this. You will shuffle back these buckos. Yes, you don't have anything else to do. Oh yeah, by the way, never forget your Wanted draw. Or to your Deception reset. I lost so many games off of that, man. I just cannot even. Activate these two, get a second diabellstar. And fetch this for a Elia Sylvia. From here, you'll make a Crocodile Drago. Draw one card. And this really could be just a Jade Dragon Mech. This way you get the back-to-back without... Is it playing too risky? If you're going for the other line, you lose on Dragster, which is pretty rough. You also lose on Gaze. No, yeah, you definitely go for this line if you want to get a B2B off of Jade Dragon Mech. Yep. Pretend this is Jade, and you pitch Revolution Synchron. You summon it, and then here is B2B. And of course you set your Gaze Otamias. This is far worse than the Keeper line. And if you were doing the other line, it's also pretty bad. But its ceiling, you can find that combo, the Souls into the Crimson King line, in the description. It is in my combo sheet. It is basically the same ceiling as the other keeper line, but it loses gaze. However, this is... I don't want to say safer. This gives you Dragoon, is all. Dragoon is much safer. Yeah, no, this is the safer line because Dragoon is much safer into board breakers. So yeah. That's about it for this line. I would say this is typically the better line. But I didn't put it in my combo sheet because I just... hilariously enough, I just said, nah, this is not cool enough. It is safe. It just doesn't give you back-to-back, which sucks. But you can also get back-to-back off of yugioh. You might as well. I think I'll test mainly the Diabell line plus yugioh as my, you know, testing. As my next thingy I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'll do the last test hand and then I'll conclude the video. I usually draw quicker than this, but I'm very tired. This is an interesting hand. Let's look at the top deck going second. Vision is pretty good. So let's start with Deception. Deception pitches Bell. You never pitch Ash. Never. I don't care if it's against Branded. You don't... No, yeah, against Branded, you physically don't pitch Ash either way. I don't care if it's a matchup in which Bell is much better. You never pitch Ash. It's Fuva. You get killed by Fuva instantly and you explode. Plus, especially here, you don't know. They're not gonna chain Fuva loss until you add your Hollowed and then activate it, which sucks. So yeah, here's Hollowed. Pitch this for a Murcielago. Murcielago gets me a Wanted. And now here's the decision tree. I could activate this. There is no decision tree. Diabellstar gets me a simple spells anyways. I don't know why my brain always thinks, oh yeah, but if I do want it early, I lose out on value. No, I don't. I physically don't. I get Diabellstar. I pitch Prison for a Diabellstar. Diabellstar effect gets me a second Deception, which will be fodder for my Hollowed later on. But either way, set this. You don't need to activate it. You go into a Demod. Demod gets me Souls. No, actually, for the Deception line, I think you're just the first one to draw. Pitch this. No, this is at the bottom. And I shuffle my deck. I draw. Here's another Diabellstar. That's not too great of a sign. Go for Demod. Get a Souls. Souls effect pitches a Diabellstar. Yeah, okay. Now, yeah, this would be a really nice place to have SP, wouldn't it, area? I'll activate this. Then... I think I pitch this and this. This is mega greedy, but if I get lucky, I win the game. So let's draw. Draw. That's the end of the game. Yeah, you set this. Summon LZ. That's 3-9. Do I even summon that? See, this is what happens with me saying, oh, I'll make the video a little bit longer. Oh, this segment's 30 minutes. Okay. I'll make Chaos Angel. Activate LZ. Gets me Deception. I don't even want Deception. I think I just want Wanted. I don't get the draw off of it, sure. But what I do get is just eat up Murcielago. I could, from this position, just go into a Jade Dragon mech. It's fine if not. I just shuffle this back for Hollowed. Then Hollowed, pitch this for Elias Sylvia. And this is 4 Disrupts. 3 Disrupts. Yeah, hey, top deck is Sweeper. Damn it. Yeah, so that's about it for this video. There's a ton of text to be done. There's a ton of testing to still be done, and I just didn't have the time to test all this time. I've been busy with school and been busy with a bunch of stuff. I forgot to put on the AC before starting this recording. I just told myself, nah, I won't need it, and I'm burning alive right now. So yeah, this is a perfect time to just end the video. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, after doing well at Nats, I am yet to get an event in which I have a more than 50% win rate. But surely at Nats it will happen. I just need good tiebreakers. Surely. It's probably gonna be 1,000 players. Top 125 go to Euros. I have my own reasons to wanna go to Euros, other than the competition being cool and it being a live and it being really sick. So yeah, that's about it. I'll see you next time. Peace.